They say buying your first home is supposed to be the happiest moment of your life. For us, it was the start of a nightmare, because the house we thought was our dream wasn't really ours at all. Something was already living there, watching, waiting, and no matter how much we tried to ignore it, it wouldn't let us go without a fight. It all started 3 years ago. My wife and I had been saving for nearly a decade, eating cheap takeout, skipping vacations, and living in a small rental apartment that never truly felt like home. When we finally had enough scraped together for a down payment, it felt like freedom, like the beginning of something we had been working toward for years. The real estate agent showed us several houses, but one stood out immediately. It was a 2-story brick house at the end of a cul-de-sac, surrounded by tall oak trees and a neatly trimmed lawn. The driveway was cracked, and the shutters were a little faded, but those felt like minor things. What mattered was the space, the yard for our dog, and the promise of stability for our kids. The price seemed surprisingly good. In fact, too good. But when I asked the agent about it, she gave me this quick rehearsed smile and said the owners had to move out suddenly for work. I didn't push further. I didn't want to ruin what felt like the perfect find. We closed the deal faster than I thought possible. Papers signed, keys in hand. I remember standing in the empty living room that first day, my wife beside me, the kids racing through the halls and thinking this is it. We finally made it. But looking back now, I wonder if the house chose us. The first week was normal. The usual chaos of unpacking, painting rooms, arranging furniture. We laughed at how big the place felt compared to our tiny apartment. But there was one thing neither of us liked: the basement. It was finished, yes, but the carpet was old and musty, the walls discolored in strange patches. Whenever I went down there, a heaviness pressed on me. The air felt thick, almost damp, even with the dehumidifier running. And then there was the dog. He wouldn't go near the basement door. Not once. Every time we tried coaxing him down, he'd plant his paws, growl low in his throat, and refuse to move. At night, he would sit at the top of the basement stairs, ears pinned back, staring at the door like he was waiting for something. At first, we laughed it off. Dogs can be weird. But then the noises began. The first time, I was in my office upstairs, directly above the basement. It was close to midnight. My wife and kids were asleep, the house quiet. Then I heard it, a dragging sound. Long, heavy, deliberate, scraping across the basement floor. I froze, listening. My mind scrambled for explanations. Pipes, shifting furniture, the house settling. I wanted to believe any of them. But deep down, I knew that sound didn't belong in an empty basement. I crept down, baseball bat in hand, flicking the basement light on with a shaking finger. Nothing, just the same stale smell, the same discarded furniture, untouched. I went back upstairs, but I didn't sleep that night. The noises grew louder over the weeks. Knocks, scratches, even whispers, low, hushed voices drifting up from below. Sometimes my wife heard them too, and that was worse, because it meant it wasn't just in my head. One night, she shook me awake, eyes wide with terror. She whispered that she heard footsteps on the basement stairs. Slow, deliberate, one by one, until they stopped right at the basement door. When I went to check, the door was still locked, but the dog was snarling at it, fur bristling, like something was standing just on the other side. From that night forward, I began locking the basement door every evening. But locks don't matter when what you're keeping out isn't supposed to exist. A month into living there, I finally decided to clear out the basement furniture. It didn't belong to us, and maybe getting rid of it would ease the unsettling feeling. There wasn't much: an old chair, a cracked mirror, a dresser. But when I pulled open one of the dresser drawers, I found something I'll never forget. A bundle of yellowed papers tied with string. At first, I thought it was junk, but when I untied it, I realized it was a diary. The handwriting was jagged, rushed. The pages spoke about the thing in the basement. Whoever wrote it had been documenting experiences eerily similar to ours: noises, footsteps, voices. One line made my skin crawl. It stands at the door when we sleep. It will never let us leave. It doesn't want us here, but it doesn't want us gone either. It wants us afraid. I shoved the diary back into the drawer, unsettled. That evening, I told my wife about it. She begged me to throw it away, but something inside me resisted. It felt important, like proof of what we were experiencing. So, instead, I hid it in the garage. That's when things got worse. It started: small lights flickering, doors that seemed to open or close on their own. But then came the night that made us question everything. A loud bang shook the house awake. It sounded like the basement door slamming against its frame. The kids screamed upstairs. The dog barked frantically, scratching at the floor in front of the door. I grabbed the bat again, hands trembling. My wife begged me not to open it. But something inside me, maybe pride, maybe stupidity, drove me forward. I unlocked the basement door and yanked it open. The light flickered on. At first, nothing seemed wrong. The basement looked the same as always. But then, in the far corner where the light barely reached, I saw it. A figure. Tall, impossibly thin, its body contorted in ways that didn't seem human. Its head hung low, at an unnatural angle, as though its neck was too long to support it. And its eyes glowed faintly in the dark, locked directly on me. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Then it shifted, not walking, not stepping. I slammed the door shut, locking it so fast I nearly snapped the key. My wife was crying. The kids were screaming. The dog was still barking wildly. And all I could think was, what had we let into our lives? We tried to rationalize it the next day. Stress, hallucination, a trick of the light. But the diary's words echoed in my head. It will never let us leave. And sure enough, every attempt to escape failed. The realtor stopped returning our calls. Potential buyers never showed up to viewings. Once, a family did come by, but they left after only 5 minutes, pale-faced and silent, refusing to explain why. At night, the thing grew bolder. Scratches appeared on the inside of the basement door. The whispers grew louder, clearer, almost chanting. Sometimes I swore I could hear my own name among them. The worst was when my daughter came into our bedroom one night, crying. She said there was a tall man standing at the foot of her bed. When I checked, of course, there was nothing there. But she pointed toward the window, and for just a split second, I swore I saw something outside, watching. Weeks blurred into months. The house drained us. We stopped sleeping. We stopped laughing. We stopped feeling like ourselves. The thing didn't want to hurt us. Not directly. It wanted us broken, terrified, trapped. And that's exactly what we became. Eventually, we couldn't take it anymore. One night, we packed bags, grabbed the kids, and left. We didn't even try to sell the house. We just walked away. Moved across state lines, started renting again. We lost almost everything we'd worked for. Our savings, our security, our dream. But we gained back our sanity. It's been years now, And sometimes I still think about that diary, about the family that lived there before us, about what might still be lurking in that basement, waiting for the next hopeful couple to walk through the door. Because some houses aren't homes. They're traps. And when you step inside, you don't just live there. You belong to it. If you ever move into a house that feels wrong, trust your instincts. Sometimes what you're feeling isn't in your head. Sometimes it's in the walls. If this story gave you chills, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more terrifying true horror stories, and hit the bell so you never miss a nightmare. And remember, some homes keep their owners forever.